Hello, girls. Hi, everyone. Okay, welcome to today's lesson. Okay, as usual, all right, those who are following my class, please do write your attendance. I will just double check 3P7's attendance. All right, the rest of you can just leave your name and your class so that I know who is attending the class today. Okay, it's fine with me. All right, I will welcome anyone to attend the class. So for the 3P7 girls, I just want to double check your attendance because we had 1 hour of lesson just now. So I just want to double check. Yeah, okay, girls. Hi, Ji Chi, Jia Dong, Hui En, Cha Yun Xuan, Evelyn, Xin Yi. Okay, just put in your names there. All right. So today, I'm going to I try to end off chapter 2. Okay, which is respiration. Ending off chapter 2 with the topic called exchange of gases in plants. So earlier on, we have already mentioned exchange of gases in the human body through the alveolus and the blood capillary. So now we're going to end off the chapter by looking at gaseous exchange in plants as well. All right, okay. So I will share screen now. I hope you can give me feedback whether you can see or not. All right, a minute. All right. Okay, 1 minute. Let me switch on my material. Okay, seems to be stuck. Okay, it's okay. Right. Okay, just type in your name and your class at the meantime. Right, let me get my material ready. Okay, so now we are going to look at this. Okay, wait, I haven't shared screen. Right. So 1 minute. Sorry, I have some background noise here. I can't avoid. All right. Okay. So I hope you can see this. Let me put up this. All right. Okay. So we are going to look at this gaseous exchange in plants. So I will just look at I want you to just see the slide. Okay. Now, I think we'll start lesson now, all right? If you're coming in later, never mind, it's all right. You just put in your name. I will check afterwards. I will check your attendance afterwards. Or alternatively, can the class rep just compile the name for me and just give me the names of those who are absent. Okay, Hun Yiqing, you can do that for me. Okay, now let's look at this. So we have seen an exchange of gases in human body through the alveolus and blood capillary. So now we want to see how does oxygen and carbon dioxide enter the plants. Okay, so they must have special structure for them to enter. So we're going to see the special structure called stoma. Okay, I'm not sure whether you've learned stoma before or not in your in Form 1 or Form 2, but this is the structure that allows gas to move in. Okay, first of all, let's revise a little bit. Okay, plants carry out the process of gaseous exchange with their surrounding through their leaves, stems, and root. So there are 3 places whereby you have gaseous exchange. That means gases coming in and gases going out from the body, from the cells of the plant. You have the leaves, okay, and most of them occur through the leaves, the gaseous exchange. You also have stem. Okay, stem is the part that is above the ground, okay, and also the roots, which is below the ground. And all these 3 parts have a similar property, which we have learned also, is the adaptation of the respiratory structure. One of the adaptation, remember there are 4, right? One of them you must have actually large surface area. So you find that all these structure leaves have large surface area because they are flat. So you have a lot of stoma on the leaves. So the more surface area they have, the more stoma they will have, the higher and the more easier for the gases to move in. Okay, and also easier for gases to come out, the waste gases. Okay, then that's one of the surface area. That's one of the adaptation. Then don't forget you have the moisture, right? One layer of moisture. Then you also have something called the thin. Again, the wall of the exchanges, the surface of where the exchange of gases is also very thin. Okay, so now let's look at this one. During the daytime, can you tell me what process happens with the plant? Daytime. Okay, can you type in the chat box? Okay, this plant is carrying out what process? Okay, let's see. All right, can you tell me what process is this plant carrying out in the daytime, during the day? Okay, just type in there. Yeah, okay, I have answer from Teo. All right, Teo, Lily Teo, you put your English name there. Teo is that Xiao Hui or Shu Hui? Lily Teo is Teo Xiao Hui or Teo Shu Hui? I'm not sure. You can tell me later. Okay, so photosynthesis, yes, yeah, that's right. But okay, many of you say photosynthesis, right? But is that the Xiao Hui, Lily Teo is Xiao Hui. Is that the only process that happens in the plant? Is that the only process that happens in the plant in the daytime? That means if you say photosynthesis, does it mean only the plant only carries out photosynthesis? Think about it. Is that the only process the plant carries out during the day? Yes or no? GP7. A lot of students have the idea that, yeah, photosynthesis, they think, oh, daytime carry out photosynthesis only. So they totally forget about respiration. Hi Muhammad Adib Hazimi. Semalam jumpa, sekarang hari pun jumpa balik. Okay, so sekolah mana Muhammad Adib? Can you type in your school name? Okay, can you type in your school name? Nak tahu sebab cikgu curious lah nak tahu dari sekolah mana ni Okay, so you're correct sini. Don't forget, all right, girls and class, anybody, students don't forget for plants, it's 24 hours a day respiration, and for photosynthesis, it happens if there is light. So when daytime, that means you definitely got light also, isn't it? So you must have two, photosynthesis and respiration. Okay, oh, Bandar Sibu Sarawak. Okay, mesti Cikgu Tang yang bagi apa ya? Bagi link untuk kelas ini kan? Okay, Muhammad Adib. Sebab Sarawak kan, kawan saya Cikgu Tang di Sarawak. I think so lah. Okay, so let's come back to the lesson. Adib, you can answer me on the chat there later. Okay, so let me look at this one. So I'm going to write here so that you remember every time. You have respiration, which happens all the time. And don't forget photosynthesis when there is light. Okay, now, so that's why you see taking in carbon dioxide, this is photosynthesis. But why taking in oxygen? You see, it takes in both. It takes in carbon dioxide during photosynthesis, and it also takes in oxygen. See, in, both also in. Okay, it also takes in oxygen for respiration. So don't ever forget respiration. This is one mistake that many students will make. When they say plants, daytime, sure, first thing they answer is photosynthesis. They totally forget respiration. Respiration doesn't matter whether you're a plant, you are a bacteria, you are a human, you are animal. As long as you have a living cell, it should carry out respiration 24 hours a day. Okay, if it doesn't work, that means the cells will die already. Okay, now giving out oxygen. Now see, when it's taking in carbon dioxide, that means during photosynthesis, it should be giving out oxygen. Okay, and when it's taking in oxygen, it should be giving out carbon dioxide because there will be respiration. Okay, so you have two processes happening at the same time. Okay, next one. At night, can you tell me what is the process that happens at night now for the plant? What process happens at night for the plant? Can you type in the chat box? What kind of process now at night? A type process at night? Yeah, okay. Respiration. Okay, will you have photosynthesis, Stella? Yun Ji Chi. Yeah, Yun Ji Chi. Will you have respiration? Is that the only process? Will you have photosynthesis? Will you have photosynthesis? Crystal Hui also says respiration. Okay, so yeah, no, correct. Okay, Xiao Hui, right? Xiao Hui, yes. No, you wouldn't have because it's at night. You will not have enough sunlight. Yeah, Hui En, you're right. Do not have. So here I will just write down the word respiration. So you don't have to worry. See, that's why they write here taking oxygen only. They never say taking in carbon dioxide. Okay, Jiatong, right. Jiying also correct. Zishuan correct. So they said giving out carbon dioxide, that means this is respiration, just like humans, all right? Humans at night, whole day also, in fact, all right, we will be carrying out respiration. So this is a K-part question for you, all right, 3P7. Why is it not encouraged for you to put a plant, a potted plant at night in your room, in your living, in your bedroom? Okay, why is it not encouraged for you to put a potted plant in your bedroom? Okay, in your bedroom together with you. Can you somebody just answer that? Yesterday's class, 3P2 and 3P4, I've already mentioned the answer. I think none of you were there except for Muhammad Adib. Muhammad Adib ada masa tu kan? Okay, so the rest of you 3P7, I think you didn't attend my class yesterday. So I'm throwing this question to you. Why is it not encouraged to have a potted plant? You put a potted plant in your bedroom. I'm talking about bedroom, okay? Not just your living room, it's your bedroom. Can you anyone just try to answer? Okay, Muhammad Adib jangan answer. Muhammad Adib sudah tahu jawapan. Okay. Okay, so can the rest of you try to answer 3P7? You didn't join my class, so you wouldn't know. Why? Why is not encouraged to put a potted plant in your room, a bedroom? I'm talking about bedroom. Okay, specific. Bedroom. Why is not encouraged? I'm waiting for your answer. You just try. No one No one can answer. No one can no answer. Muhammad Adib can answer kan? I think Muhammad Adib boleh lah. Okay, you follow my class yesterday. Want to try? Anyone want to try? No, cannot answer. Think about what the plant carries out at night. Okay, Patricia, you have an idea. Good. Plants give out carbon dioxide just like we do, but they absorb what? Okay, you only half the answer there. What does the plant do? By instead of they give out carbon dioxide. What do they absorb? Yes. Okay, Teo Hui. Oxygen will be taken by the plant. Yes. Yeah, plants will absorb oxygen. Correct. So they are also taking oxygen just like you. So they're actually competing for oxygen in the air. Yes, right. Because at night, of course, normally nobody sleeps with the light on, isn't it? You won't have very bright sunlight or won't have bright lights at night. So it'll be all dark when you sleep. So everybody, including yourself and the plant, everybody is taking in oxygen. So when they're taking oxygen, they're also producing a lot of carbon dioxide. So that means that, in fact, if your whole room is all closed up, when you switch on your aircon and everything, all the oxygen is being absorbed, right? You don't have the circulation, no ventilation. You don't open the windows and everything. So you'll be actually lacking of oxygen. All right, okay? So it's not encouraged for you to put a green potted plant in your bedroom, okay? Because at night you sleep. And then the plant will carry out respiration just like you also. They will compete with you for oxygen. And that's when you lack oxygen. Okay, so they absorb it. Yeah, correct. Now you got the idea, right? They have lack of sunlight is because you don't switch on the light. Unless, of course, you switch on the light, but nobody does that at night, isn't it? It's so bright. How are you going to sleep with your light on? So that is the whole idea. All right, now let's go on. All right, let's go on here. Let me write down the equation. You need to remember this. Respiration and photosynthesis, the equation. All right, okay, I will just make this bigger so I can write here. Let me continue. Let me revise your respiration first. Respiration is the process where glucose that enters your body cell through the blood, right? The blood passes the glucose to you, is oxidized by oxygen. So this is the reason why you need to breathe in oxygen. Why you need oxygen? So glucose is oxidized by oxygen. That means there's a chemical reaction and it produces carbon dioxide. I'll put for short CO2, okay? And water, H2O, and of course energy. This is the main reason why the cells want to do this process. This is called cellular respiration, which happens in the cell, which we cannot see. And that is the reason why we need to take in oxygen all the time. Even for plants. Plants will carry out this also 24 hours a day. So glucose, all right, glucose will be oxidized by this oxygen and you get carbon dioxide as a waste. This is called a byproduct. All this is byproduct. Byproduct means it's something that not is the purpose of doing it. This is not the purpose why they want to carry out this process. The main product is energy. This is why the cell wants it. Main product. Okay, main product. So now, if I want to remember this, I give you a simple way of remembering it, the reaction. So remember G for glucose, O for oxygen, and then you will have I'll put K because it's in last time I taught in BM. BM is called carbon dioxide. And of course A for IA. Okay, Goka. And of course you want to remember there's an E there lah, or you want to remember if in BM is turgor. T lah, up to you. Alright, you want to remember E or T, it's up to you. So as long as you know how to remember the formula, you can put it as a T, Gokat. Alright, it's easier for you to say it. So this is your respiration equation. For photosynthesis, when you have photosynthesis, photo, TO, missing a TO. Yeah, my pen is not working very well today. Wait. Yeah. Okay, cancel. Right, photosynthesis. Now only the eraser coming. Okay, photosynthesis. It is actually to break down the food to release. It's actually making back the food. Okay, making back the food. So making back the food, you need the raw material. And actually the raw material is your carbon dioxide and water. You see that? Carbon dioxide and water is your raw material. And of course, don't forget your sunlight. Okay, sunlight I will write here. And don't forget you need to have chlorophyll to carry out this process. Okay, and then you are going to make the food, which is generally speaking is the glucose molecule, and you also produce oxygen at the same time. So do you notice something peculiar about these two reactions? Yeah, do you notice something peculiar about these two reactions? Something very funny, right? Isn't it? Do you know that GOKA is over here, and over here is actually the opposite. Photosynthesis is actually the opposite. This is carbon dioxide, K. A is IA. Then you have a G, which is oxygen, and O. So this is cargo, okay? They are actually opposites. You know, respiration is breaking down the molecule of glucose to get water and carbon dioxide. And at the same time, you actually can make it backwards. That means you take the carbon dioxide and water, and then you form back the food. So they are total opposites. So that's why only plant can do that. They can also both carry out both. For us, it's just respiration. That's why we rely on plants a lot. Without plants, we cannot get the source of glucose because we can't make glucose from the sunlight. So that's why plants are very important to us. Okay, for the survival of a lot of species on this earth. Okay, so let me check questions. So far nothing. Right, so far nothing. I'll carry on. Over here, let's look at how does this. You say photosynthesis, right? You also talk about gas plant. So there must be a place for them to enter because they want to carry out this process. How to give it to the cells to carry out the photosynthesis? The gas actually comes from the air. It must enter through certain spaces. So the most important place to enter is through the leaves. There's a little hole there, in fact, many holes. They're called stoma. These are the organs. Sorry, these are the part where the gases come in. So we're talking about photosynthesis now. Okay, don't talk about respiration now. Okay, diffusion of carbon dioxide. How does carbon dioxide go into the cells of the plant to enable them to carry out photosynthesis? Okay, now how? So they go through a place called stoma. Stoma. Okay, now where's the stoma? Let me show you some first. If you slide, okay, you know the leaf is very thin, right? Let me draw you a leaf first. Right, a leaf is here. Leaf is here. So when you have a leaf here, right, a leaf here, then you need to slice it like this. Slice it. Okay, imagine this is a piece of paper. This is your leaf, right? When you slice it here, you find the leaf is very thin, right? It's very thin. And then you put under the microscope to see and you magnify it. It's actually very quite thick because you have many layers of cell. And this is what you see. You see layers and layers of cell. Okay, so let's go through the names of the parts you need to know. So Okay, I go through this here. So on the top, right, coming from the top, this is the top, this is the bottom. All right, this is the top, this is the bottom. Now the top here, the first here is you find there's a layer of wax. Okay, there's a sometimes most of the plants have a layer of wax. We call it cuticle. So if you look at textbook, it's written there. It is labeled here as cuticle. Where is it? Quickly come on. My picture is not coming on. 1 minute. Sometimes it jam. So sorry. Can't be helped. Already jam. Sorry. You look at your textbook now. All right, you have the textbook with you. The textbook here, the next page here, you will see the picture of the fish 68. Okay, 68. Page 68. You will see the layers of the cells. Okay. Yeah, where is it? Here. Okay. So let me go through this part. And you look at your textbook, you can just look at here as well. Now, the top here, yeah, the picture's not showing. 1 minute. Yeah, okay. It already blank out, so I'm going to look for the place. Here. All right, so sorry. Okay, you just look at your textbook. I'm sure that is waterproof. It's wax, lak, and can Mandarin say is lak. Okay, the purpose of having cuticle is to prevent water loss. So because the shine, so it's hot as well in the daytime. So it's going to make the water evaporate. So if evaporate too much, the plant is going to lose a lot of water. So the plants will dry. Oh, sorry, girls. Can you hear me? Can you hear me? I think I lost my internet connection. I'm still here now. Are you still there? Okay. Let me share screen. I need to share screen again. Are you here, girls? So sorry. I think my internet gave me problems. I will have to share screen again. Okay, good. Thank you very much. I can still see you. Yeah, good. Thanks. Okay, please don't run away. Because I will try my best to come in. I may have to change and all this. Sometimes the internet is very bad. I have very bad internet. I don't have Streamix. Sorry, I don't have Unify. I only have Streamix, and I'm relying on Streamix all the time, and it's not very good. Okay, sorry. So sorry. I have to go on to this part. Let me go on to this. Where is it? Here. All right. Now I hope you can see this. So sorry, students. I will continue. I will continue from here. Let me maximize this. Now here, so I am talking about here just now. I was talking about here. This is cuticle, which is waterproof. It is to minimize water loss. Okay, this is waterproof. We call it 防水. Then after that, you have a layer which is arranged, they call it, arranged in a manner of vertically. And you can, the good thing is it's all very compact, very compact. There's very little empty space here. This is called palisade mesophyll. Palisade mesophyll. Now, after one layer of that, you go down lower to the leaf, you'll find a lot of empty space. This is called the air space between the cells, which allow the gases to go in and go out. Okay, and these cells are called spongy mesophyll. So this is something like palisade mesophyll, but they are not rectangular shape. They are more rounded, right? They are more not so geometric like the shape, and it's quite loosely packed. So there's a lot of space there, and it's actually good because it allows the gases to move in and out. If it's too packed, there's no space for the air to move in, or the oxygen and carbon dioxide. Okay, and then you have xylem and phloem here to transport water, sorry, and also to take the food or the glucose that is already made in the cell. So this is to transport things away and transport water to the plants, to the cells, the leaf cells. And then lastly, at the bottom of the layer, okay, you have what you call the lower epidermis. And here you have special cells called gut cell. This is the gut cell which actually control the lubang. This lubang, the pore. This is a pore. Pore means a hole there, which allows the gas to go in and the gas to go out. So that pore is called stoma. The stoma is not the cell, no girls. All right, don't get mistaken, the students. It's not the stoma. Is not the cell. The stoma is the hole there. Okay, the lubang. So it is controlled by two special cells which look like the shape of kidney. Okay, the shape very like the ginjal or the the cashew nut, right? They curve like that. So they are called the gut cells. Okay, now let's discuss the air go in. I mean, how does the carbon dioxide go in and how? Okay, let's look at the number one here. When carbon dioxide is used in photosynthesis, so we start the story from inside the cell because inside the leaf here, because this leaf cell is actually carrying out photosynthesis when the light shines on it. Okay, let's say it's daytime, a lot of sunlight. Okay, this is sunlight. So when the light shines on the chlorophyll, photosynthesis will happen. So what happens is this carbon dioxide will be absorbed into the cell. It's used up. This carbon dioxide that's already inside here, there's already CO2 here, right? The red color, see the red color arrow? This shows carbon dioxide. So this carbon dioxide is already inside because remember you said that we said there's a lot of air space inside, man. There's a lot of air space, that means there's carbon dioxide inside there. So when it is at daytime, the carbon dioxide will be absorbed into the cell because the cell needs it to make food. So this carbon dioxide goes in, okay? CO2 goes in. So that means when the carbon dioxide goes in, right, the concentration of carbon dioxide in the space here will become less, okay? It will go down because it already go into the cell. So when it goes into the cell, this space here already become less carbon dioxide. Okay, so that's why I show the arrow point down. The arrow point down means the concentration already reduced in the airspace. Okay, in the airspace already reduced, and then that's why I say so. The concentration of carbon dioxide becomes lower compared to the concentration of carbon dioxide in the airspace between the cells. So it's now this one goes in already, so now it's become lower. So when this one becomes lower, right? The difference in concentration allows the dissolved carbon dioxide in the moist surface of the cells to diffuse from the airspace between the cells into the cells. Okay, here actually they're talking about here first. They talk about the CO2 inside this palisade cells. So in the beginning, okay, let me start again. In the beginning, because the carbon dioxide is already used up, so this carbon dioxide will become less inside the cell. So when it's less, it will take in the carbon dioxide from the airspace because the airspace looks like it's more because inside the cell is already less carbon dioxide. So here in the airspace like more, right? So the air will move in. The oxygen, the carbon dioxide will move in. So the carbon dioxide will move into the cells. Okay, move into the cells. That's number one. That's the number one there. It will move in from the airspace between the cells into the cells. So it goes in. So now when it goes in, the story continues. Because when it goes in, that means this carbon dioxide here become less already. The concentration of the carbon dioxide in the airspace will become less. Why? Because it already moved into the cell. So now this space become less. So what happens? You compare to outside the cell now. The carbon dioxide looks as if it is higher because inside already become less. All right, it looks as if you compare to outside, looks like outside is higher. All right, so now outside is higher now, inside is less. So what's going to happen? You have a process called diffusion, because diffusion always happens from an area of higher concentration to an area of lower concentration. So now what happens is your carbon dioxide will automatically move in. Okay, so the gas will be moved in. So the concentration of the inside, which is less, will cause the outside air to move in. Okay, so this causes, number two, let's look at the notes. This causes the concentration of carbon dioxide in the airspace to become lower. So now it's lower, all right? The airspace here is lower compared to outside, So this difference, the difference between the inside and outside, causes the diffusion of carbon dioxide from the atmosphere into the airspace between the cells, and it enters through the stoma, which is open. Okay? During the daytime, the stoma will be open because of the light intensity. When it's bright, the stoma will open. When it's at night, when it's not so bright at night, especially midnight, the stoma will become smaller. I mean, not smaller. It will actually close, but not close 100%. Remember, because there is still respiration, it must allow the carbon dioxide to go out also. So when we say stoma close, it doesn't mean stoma closes 100%. This is not true. The stoma cannot close 100%, because if stoma cannot closes 100%, that means respiration cannot happen. Oxygen cannot go in. Carbon dioxide cannot go out. The cells will die. So when you say stoma closes, it doesn't mean 100%. You must allow some oxygen to move in as well. Okay, so number two here explains why or how this carbon dioxide will get to diffuse into the cell. It's always because of difference in concentration. All right, so here is at first more, but because it's used up, so it becomes less. So the next place here, which is more, now it goes to pass on to here. And then this place now becomes less already. Then the next place becomes more, so it will move on. So it's like the carbon dioxide, it keeps on transferring from one area to another area. Finally, it enters the cell. Okay, the cell is using up the carbon dioxide to make glucose, to make food. All right, okay, so this is what you see here. You see the diagram here is a bit more detailed because it shows you, we'll always keep disappearing. Okay, here. Okay, here, you see that? All the red, the blue dots here represents all these molecules, represent gases and so on. All right. So here, if water means the carbon dioxide enters here, it becomes less. So outside here, it will move in. Okay. So if there's more inside here, alternatively, it will move out. So it depends on which is more, which is less. Diffusion always happens from more to less. Okay, from higher concentration to lower concentration. So here's a 3D. You can see the stoma at the bottom. Usually on the lower epidermis, there's more stomata. Okay, now what's the difference stoma and stomata? You see this word here? Sometimes you see what stomata. This one means plural, more than one. Stoma is one. When you want to talk about more, you say stomata. So stomata is more on the lower epidermis compared to the top. And for a reason. Do you know what is the reason? Why is it made in such a way that you have more stoma on the bottom epidermis compared to the upper epidermis? Think about the logic of it, the logic, okay? Usually on top there is always exposed to what? When the leaf on top, the top side of the leaf, you'll be exposed to what? It's more towards exposing to the up there. What's up there? What is up there? Okay, can someone maybe type why you have more stoma on the lower epidermis compared to the upper epidermis? Why? It's a bit for you to think. Why you have more stoma on the lower epidermis compared to the upper epidermis? Sunlight. Yes, I see the keyword there. Sunlight. Yes, the top side of the leaf is always exposed to sunlight, isn't it? And then when you got more sunlight, actually it makes the stomata open bigger. the stoma, actually the gut cell. The gut cell is the one controlling. Afterwards, I'll show you how to control. So when it opens more, because of the higher light intensity, the stoma, you have bigger pore. So when the stoma is bigger, more water can escape. When more water can escape, that means the plant will lose water very fast. Okay, that means transpiration rate is very high. So when the plant loses more water, that means it's not good, isn't it? The plant doesn't have enough water, then it may wilt very easily. So in order to prevent or to prevent that problem, or we say reduce the rate of transpiration. We don't want so much water to lose because of the sunlight from the top there. So we try to have more stoma at the lower epidermis. Okay, and also the cuticle on top there. Why have on top? On the bottom don't have so much cuticle because the top side here is always exposed to the sunlight. It will have a higher rate of transpiration. So we want to reduce. Okay, so we click down here to reduce, right? To reduce the rate of transpiration. Okay, from the leaves. This is why we have stomata more on the lower epidermis. Okay, so this is to reduce. We cannot prevent transpiration. So preventing is not correct. Use the correct term. I say reduce. Reduce is possible. You cannot prevent. You cannot, and then you cannot prevent because transpiration will always have to happen, and it's actually good. Okay, it helps to suck up the water. You will see that in Form 4, I think, when you study on Form 5. Yeah. Okay, so now we continue. All right, now let's look at stomata. All right, the pore. Look at this. This is the stomata pore. So you want to label the cells at the side here. This is actually the gut cell. All right, got two gut cells here. Okay, wrong. I think not like this. So the gut cell here. This is like the shape of it is like a bean shape. All right, bean shape. So this is not actually closed up. And like I said, remember I said it's closed, it's not really 100% closed. It must allow oxygen to move as well. So stomata pore here will, the size of it is actually controlled by gut cell. Gut cell is the thing that controls the size. So you want to be big, gut cell has to open like this. When the stomata is small, your gut cell will be like this. Okay, how does it control? Okay, look here. Stoma is made up of stomata pore. Okay, stomata pore is the lubang bounded by a pair. So gut cell, you have two gut cells like that, curve shape. It's like a cashew nut, right? Curve like that. These gut cells contain chloroplast. So they have chloroplast. They can produce, they can carry out photosynthesis. Okay, and then they open because of stimulated by light. So remember this, light actually open because the gut cells will open like this. They become more turgid. I'll just explain to you what's turgid. Okay, and they will close or they will become open when it is dark. Okay, or when the plant loses a lot of water, right, on a hot day and there's not enough water in the ground to replace the water that is lost, then you'll find that the plant will start to wilt and it will close when it's starting to wilt. All right. Now, let's look at how the stoma opens and closes. It's like this. You see the shape of the gut cell? It's very important to know that the shape of the gut cell is special. Let me draw one gut cell. The cells at the side here are called abnormal epidermal cells. The normal cells which are not specialized. So when the epidermal cell is already specialized, it becomes this special shape like that, like cashew nut. You draw a little bend like that. That is called a gut cell. So the gut cell here, actually, you see the cell wall. I'm going to put in red color so you can see the cell wall. On the inner side here, you see it's very much thicker. The one facing the stomata pore, the stoma. You see the cell wall is thicker. This is important feature. You see the inner cell thick wall. The inner wall is thicker. Compared to where? Compared to the outer side is thinner. See here? It's thinner. And this is important in making the gut cell open and close. Yes, okay, it's important. So it is because of the thickness of the wall. Now, why? It's because when you have uneven thickness, we say the thickness is uneven. So what happens is when water goes in the cell, there's going to be higher pressure. The water rushes into the cell during the daytime. Let me draw this. Okay, here is thinner. So when you want to draw, be careful with the cell wall. You have to draw this side thicker. Like that. Okay, that's how you draw a cell wall. Sorry, a guard cell. And you do it like this, right? You do that. Of course, it's very shaky. Sorry, my pen. It's very smooth and very good to draw. So here you can draw it thicker. Then over here you draw it thinner. Alright, so the difference is in the thickness of the cell wall on the inner and the outer. So in the daytime, when you have high light intensity, water is going to rush into the cell. Water will move in. Afterwards, we see why water move in. There's a process called osmosis. Okay, water will go into the cell. Water goes into the cell, you find that it's just like a balloon, you pump in air. What happens to the balloon? The balloon becomes bigger and bigger and bigger, isn't it? It will become expand. So it's like a lot of pressure inside there. But it's not air pressure. Balloon is air pressure, of course. But in the cell, it's not air pressure, it's water pressure. That water pressure will actually push against the wall. It will push everywhere. So here, let me draw the wall, the cell, we call it the pressure. We call it hydrostatic pressure. It's going to push the cell wall from inside out. Here. I draw again. Okay, I draw one enough lah. All right. So it's going to push the water pressure. Okay, it's pushing, and it causes pressure. And this pressure will make the cell is like very, very hard. The cell becomes very hard, right? So we call it, this kind of pressure is called turgor pressure. Turgor pressure because of the water. Okay, water. Okay, for this I rub off first. After I explain this one. The process of going in, the water going in and out, is called osmosis. But the pressure is called turgor pressure, and it makes the cell becomes turgid. Turgid means the cell is like, very very tight and very, very hard. Okay, so it becomes what we call the cell becomes turgid. So when the cell becomes turgid, it's trying to expand. The cell will try to expand. So when it expands, because of the difference in the thickness of the wall, the inner side will not expand so much because thick is difficult to expand. So the outer side will expand more. So as a result, here the outer side become longer. The inner side will become shorter. You see? See the distance? Right? The outer side will expand more and the inner side expand less. So it will, like in the end, now you're going to see that like that, it will curve. Okay, so both sides are there at first like that, right? So because it will be outside here expand more, so it will like that. All right, just imagine inside here cannot expand, so the outer side expands, so you just like that. So it makes the lubang here bigger. So the stoma opens. Okay, so that is what causes the stoma to open in the daytime because water enter. And the water enter is because of osmosis. So now we want to see what's the meaning of osmosis. Okay, why water enter? Because actually water always move from more to less. Okay, let's see. Okay, osmosis. Now osmosis actually affects the opening of stoma. So that's why I want to relate. Just now I want to show you stoma open like this. It's actually because water move in. So that movement of water is called osmosis. Okay, this is something new. You will see that again in Form 4 biology when you learn biology. So, but now you Form 3 already in the syllabus, you have to learn it also. So the concept of osmosis is like this. Okay, what is the other principle? Osmosis definition first. Osmosis is the process. It's a process. It's not a thing. It's a process of number one, movement of water molecules. Is always talking about water, not about salt, not about ions, not about anything, not gas. It's always movement of water. If it's not water, it's not osmosis. Osmosis is only considered diffusion of water. Movement is something like diffusion, movement. The gas or the molecule move from one place to another place. It's called diffusion. But it's always from high to low. When you have an area which is high water, more water, okay, we call it high concentration of water molecules, a lot of water here, to an area which is low concentration of water. So here more water, here less water, all right? Automatically it will move in, but it is through a semi-permeable membrane. That means there's something to separate. 它有一层东西to 隔住 one. It's like separating. For diffusion of gases, no need membrane one. It just move like that. But for osmosis, there is a membrane. Now, what kind of membrane is it? It's usually the cell membrane, plasma membrane. Okay, that means it go across the cell. Okay, a semi-permeable membrane is a membrane that can allow certain things to go through, and it doesn't allow other things to go through. That means it can control. The semi-permeable membrane can control what goes in and what cannot go in. It means not everything can go in. Usually because of the size. When the size is too big, the lubang here on the membrane here, there are actually holes. Too big, it cannot go through. So usually it's related to the size of the molecule. So now this is the things you need to understand about osmosis. It is a process of movement or diffusion of water. First thing you need to know, what is it? It's diffusion of water. Number two, from where to where? From an area of more water to area of less water. Okay, that's number two. Number three, it must be through what? Through a semi-permeable membrane. It must be through a semi-permeable membrane. If you have 1, 2, and 3 here, this is the definition of osmosis. You cannot say osmosis with only 1 and 2. You must mention all 1, 2, and 3. Then it's considered osmosis. Okay, if you mention 1 and 2 without the semi-permeable membrane, it's not osmosis. Okay, now we look at example. If you see here, all right, so if I have a beaker, which I put 2 different solutions. One is this white color, a blue color is referring to water. Water. And solute, this I put sugar. Sucrose is a type of sugar. Okay, sugar. That means I have 2 types of solution. One is a high sugar solution. That means very sweet lah. The solution a lot of sugar lah. The other one is less sugar. All right. And then I separate using a membrane. A membrane, it can be cell wall, not cell wall, cell membrane, or it can be a kind of plastic, a special kind of plastic. We call it whisking tube. That one you have in the lab. This is called a whisking tubing or whisking tubing or whisking tube. It is actually semi-permeable. It only allows small size molecules to move across. Okay, now let's look at this. If we compare water and sucrose, sucrose is actually big molecule. The molecule is bigger. Compared to water, water is smaller size. Water is smaller size. Okay, so I draw 2 different. Okay, the sucrose is big size. The water is small size. When you separate them like this, all right, you find here one side got more sugar. This is high sugar. All right, sucrose more. This side, sucrose less, correct? Sucrose more, sucrose less. Now, let me ask you a question. When you have a solution that is sucrose more, that means a lot of sugar, very 甜, your water is very, your liquid or your 糖水, your manisan, very, very sweet. That is when you talk about the water will be more or less. If it's something that has got very high sugar content, how is the water? That means water also high or not? Water high or water low? Okay, let me look at your comments. Okay, Syam Nurin. Sama sekolah kan, I think. Okay, so let me ask you about this one. When you have a sugar solution, which is very concentrated, very sweet lah, or let's say very sweet lah, will you have a lot of water inside there? Let me ask you. When you have a solution that is very sweet, put in a lot of sugar. Yeah, yes, water less, correct. When you have something that's very sweet, that means a lot of sugar molecule, right? But less water. Yes, less. Everybody say low. Yeah, good. So let me write here. If sugar high, that means your water will be low, right? Not correct? You get the idea? Yeah, okay. Muhammad Adib pun setuju. Okay, lower. So the water concentration here is lower. Okay, let's compare to the other one. Now I have a solution which is a little bit of sugar only, Not very sweet lah, okay? Not very sweet. But let's look at the water. Do you think the water will be more then? Is the water higher? Is the water higher compared to the solution just now, which was very sweet? So now they're talking about this solution. This is A, this is B. Just now we finished the B. Now we talk about A now. Sugar is very little, right? But the water, water concentration will be more, isn't it? Yes, because 不甜, it's not sweet. It's not sweet. That means a lot of water lah. If I give you a solution of 甜水 okay, 甜品饼the 桶水 it's not very sweet. The little 没有味道 no taste Then you find it means it's too much water, isn't it? Yeah, water will be more, correct. Yeah. So water is more. So now you see you have two places we have different water concentration. We look at water Don't confuse yourself by looking at sucrose We want to talk about water first. We concentrate on water. Yes, C, correct, higher. Right. So let's concentrate on the water first. You find here got more water on A. You find B has got less water, right? One side more, one side less. Remember, you always have diffusion happening from area of high concentration to area of low concentration. So you find that automatically, even though you got this membrane separating, no problem. This is a semi-permeable membrane. Water can pass through. Water is very small. The molecule is very small. It can pass through. So what happens is you find that the water automatically will be able to pass through. It's trying to dilute the other side. In other words, I put it very simply okay, this side is a lot of sugar. This side, very little sugar. But this side, very little sugar means a lot of water. And this side is very very high sugar means very little water. So it's actually trying to move in. The water is trying to dilute the other side. The diluted one will move into the concentrated side. So the water will rush in. You see, water will rush in. And you will see after a while, maybe 30 minutes later, you will find the water level will not be the same. Okay, now why? Water will rush in from this side A to B, but you see the sucrose, the red color dots here represent sucrose. The sucrose is still the same. You see how many do I draw here? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. On the left hand side got 5. On the left hand side here now is still 5. And here, of course, I cannot count too many for me to count on the B side The number of sucrose on both sides of the solution will still be the same. Now, why? Actually, I give you a clue already. I give you an answer already. Why? Why will still be the same? Okay, water can move right across, but the sucrose here remains the same. Why? Anyone try? Everyone try why it remains the same. There is no difference. In the water, the sucrose, I see on left hand side 5. After that, half an hour, still also 5. The water level will change because water will move. Why? Why does the sucrose does not change? In terms of why does the sucrose never move? Why does the sucrose never move from more to less? Why the sucrose doesn't move from here to here, from B to A? Because like we say, diffusion diffusion always go from higher to lower. Why it never change place? Why the sucrose never change place? How come water change place only? Anyone can tell me? It's something to do with the membrane here. What did I mention earlier? You remember or not? Anyone? Look here. What did I say about the size? What did I say about the size? The size of the molecule is actually bigger for, yes, cannot pass through. Yes, correct. Xiaohui. Sucrose molecule cannot pass through the solid molecules yet. Why? You didn't give me the reason. Can you qualify the statement by typing something? Why? Because, okay, because water permeable membrane, yes, but why is it only water permeable? Why sucrose cannot pass through? Talk about the size. Talk about the size. So, because, okay, shall we? Because, semi-permeable, yes, it only allows certain things to pass through usually because of the size. Because water, because the size of sucrose is too large to pass through the pores. The pore is the lubang. Yeah, that's why it's semi-permeable. It can control. Usually it's a control due to size. So water is too big. Water is small enough to pass through, but sucrose is too big, cannot pass through. Yeah, that's why you call it semi-permeable. Semi means half, or you call it selectively permeable. Selective means you can choose. certain things can pass through, certain things cannot pass through. Usually it's because of the size. Sucrose so happen is actually big size and water is very small. So you will see that water will move in. Now this is osmosis. Osmosis always happen from more water to less water, higher water concentration to area of lower water concentration through a semi-permeable membrane. So let's go back to the cell now. Here to compare is to explain the osmosis in the cell. Okay, yeah, all right, Patricia, correct. Yeah. So now let's look at this one. All right, let me look at bigger. Right. So I want to see why the can open during the day. Very simple. It's because why it becomes so big? Oh, I pushed it up already. Accidentally pushed it up. What happened to my this slide? So sorry. Wait. I push it away first. Sometimes it just jam a little bit. Oh, this one got moved away. Okay. Wait. It got jammed. Okay, look at textbook. I can look at textbook. So I want to mention about the effect on the cell. Right, the effect on the cell. Wait. I'm trying to. Okay, can you see this? I will share screen again. So I think it is. Can you see this again? Okay. Can you have the feedback? Are you still looking at this? Are you looking at this, girls? Yes. Okay. I'm so sorry. My note is like hang already. Okay. You can look at the textbook. So sorry the thing there. You're still looking at it, right? You're still looking at it. Okay, good. Now I'm trying to open my OneNote again. Okay, let me go through this again. Now, so process osmosis in gut cell. So it's like this. Let me share. Sorry, I forgot to share. All right, share screen. Sorry, today's lesson will be a little bit longer. I'm so sorry. Okay, application window. Right here. Right here. That's what happens when you get very bad internet. Okay, now here. In the daytime, I said, remember I said in the daytime there will be photosynthesis. So when there's photosynthesis, so what happens here is the plant is carrying out photosynthesis to produce glucose. So when there's glucose means there's going to be a lot of sugar produced. The sugar will be higher inside. So inside the cell here, a lot of sugar is produced. When sugar is more, that means water is lesser, correct or not? So the glucose inside the cell is higher concentration. And because the sugar is more, that means water is less, right? So now compared to the outside cell, the neighboring cell, the neighbor cell will have more water and it's not so concentrated. So water actually moves in because of osmosis. So the water will diffuse, water from the outside cell or the surrounding cell next to the gut cell will move into the gut cell through the process of osmosis. So that's why the cell now becomes all the water pump inside here. So it can become turgid. Turgid means very firm, very hard. Okay, and it will curve. Curve because of what? Remember I said about the cell wall on the inner side is thicker, so it will curve because it bends. So the outside will curve more, the inside will curve less, so it will curve inwards, and that's what causes the gut cell to open like this. Okay, and then on the opposite, reversely, when at night, when there's no photosynthesis, the plant is using up the glucose or the sugar is using up. So when it's using up, there'll be less sugar inside the cell. And now the reverse thing happens. The water will diffuse out. When the water diffuses out, that means it will not be so turgid. It will not be so hard. And then it becomes softer. The cell becomes softer. All right. The water diffuses out through osmosis and the cell becomes softer. You will say it as flaccid. Flaccid means like lumpet like that. Lumpet means it's like very soft. There's no pressure. There's no water pressure inside there. and it become not so curved, become flatter, straight. So when it's straight, it's like closes up the hole there. So that's why this causes the stoma not to open at night or become smaller, the size of the stoma. Okay, so you can see the difference here. Water will move in through the daytime during osmosis because of process of photosynthesis, because of the light. The cell makes food. So inside there, a lot of sugar. A lot of sugar means there'll be less water. So outside water will move in. Okay. At night, opposite, the sugar here will be used up. Okay, it's not making new sugar already. So the sugar used up, so there'll be less sugar. That means compared with the water, that means water is a lot more. Yeah. So water will move out. So the water moves out here at night. So it becomes flaccid. Right. In the daytime, it becomes turgid. You must use the correct term. Use the word turgid and flaccid. Turgid means jang pok pok. Flaccid means lam pet pet. Okay, this is how we say, easy to remember. Okay, so this is how you can just explain it. Same thing I've just mentioned here. Okay, the process is osmosis. So the gut cells will curve and open in the daytime. On a hot day or at night, the water will diffuse out because of osmosis, and it causes the gut cell to be straight, and it closes the stomata, or the stomata becomes smaller. Okay, so lastly, right, I think about 5 minutes more. Now, the importance of unpolluted environment for survival of plants. So our plants need to have clean air. Okay, what is the effect of having the plant which is exposed to dirty air, or which say exposed to the air which is unclean or polluted? So first of all, you will have less photosynthesis. Okay, look here. Right? The hazy and dusty environment, it will be harmful for the growth and survival of plants. Okay, so first thing you do is you will reduce the sunlight. When it's haze, it blocks the sunlight. So when it blocks the sunlight, it reduces the rate of photosynthesis. Okay, the rate of photosynthesis will drop because not enough brightness. When not enough brightness, you find that it cannot carry out as much photosynthesis. The rate will be very low. Less food will be produced. Okay, so that will, another thing is the dust and the haze will block the stomata. It will settle. Okay, it will clog up the stomach. So it will also prevent gaseous exchange. So it actually affects photosynthesis. So when there's a lot of haze, you find the plants will not grow very well because it's not bright enough, and also the haze will block the stoma. So in the end, of course, humans will not get enough food because of the plant does not produce enough glucose and food for the plants and us as well. Okay, so that's one on plants. Two effects. One is reduce rate of photosynthesis. Another one is no gaseous exchange because it blocks the stoma. Okay, secondly, okay, what about acidic gases? When you have polluted environment, you have, remember these two gases? Always remember sulfur dioxide and nitrogen dioxide. These are the two gases which produces acid rain. Always remember these two gases. These are the two culprits for acid rain. So when they are released from the factories, when they are released from this exhaust from the burning of coal and petrol, so it goes into the air and it dissolves in the water vapor in the air, in the clouds, it comes down as acid rain. So when acid rain drops onto the plant, it can kill plant cells. It also causes the soil to be acidic. So it falls onto the ground, it makes the soil becomes acidic, and sometimes this acidic soil is not suitable for all the plants. Some plants prefer more alkaline condition. Some prefer neutral soil. Some maybe a little few of them prefers acidic soil. But usually it becomes too acidic and the soil becomes less fertile. That means plants cannot grow well in it. Okay, so plants cannot live in very highly acidic soil. So if it's too acidic, they die. Okay, so it will make the food short, means it cannot produce food because you have less plant growing. Okay, so how to prevent? Preventive measures is, for example, what you can do. Okay, now there are two ways of answering question. Sometimes the question you must read carefully. What can be done by government? Okay, government, there's one. Another one is what you can do. So read the question carefully. If the question asks you what you can do, you cannot say you fine the factories. You cannot say you ban open burning. You cannot ban because you're not the government. Only the government can ban, isn't it? So you the question. If it's general question, you say what are the preventive effects? you can ban open burning. Yeah, but means government you can't do it because you're not the government. So I say ban open burning. You limit the number of motor vehicles on the road, especially in China. They only use electric motorbikes. They don't use autobikes which produce the exhaust because it's very dirty, the air in Beijing. Okay, they already banned no normal, no motorbikes that can use petrol. They all use electric motorbikes. Okay, so this is government. Government only can do the laws and all that. And then encourage the use of alternative energy such as solar energy. Right? But what about you? You as a student, what can you do? You cannot ban open burning. You can just say do not burn rubbish in the open can. You can say that, right? Do not cut down trees. Okay, that means your own self lah. You don't help to make the problem worse by cutting down trees Okay, but what you can do is maybe something simpler. For example, number 4, you can carpooling lah. Practice carpooling. This is something that you can do. Correct? Practice carpooling. Share vehicles. All right. Try to use the bicycle instead of using car to go to a nearby shop to buy something. Okay. And then what you can do is to maybe use public transport. Try to use public transport rather than to drive a car every time. This is what you can do. Or maybe you can also start some campaign in the school. So read the question carefully. Sometimes a lot of students will misanswer. They will say everything so ban this. When they ask you what you can do as a student, you cannot say ban. Okay, be careful when you answer these questions. All right, is there any questions so far? I think I have finished chapter 2 already. Next week we can start chapter 3. Any questions from the class? Okay, I took a bit more time because of the disturbance just now. I was kicked out just for a while, so sorry. And also, my note hang for a while, so I had to, I was looking at blank. I was looking at the blank page, and luckily you have your book to look at. So, okay. So yes, meaning what? What was my question? Yes. Everybody say yes. What was the question? I don't remember. Okay. So is everything okay? Okay, no question. All right. Okay, Mama Adib, thank you very much. Okay, no question. All right, no questions. Okay, so thank you very much for attending today's class. I will see you next week. Okay. So any question, please telegram me or can ask me question anytime. All right. Okay. Bye bye then, girls. All right. Bye bye, and I will see you next lesson. Okay. Bye.